and this is going to be a brag. But, I've now worked on 2 episodes of Crank Anchors. So guess what? Prank phone calls are allowed.
Drop the
You
mic.
can make a living from them.
I know you'll know where we were when. I know you'll know where we were when.
Hello, and welcome to Where We Were When, a podcast where we look back at the most memorable movie-going experiences of our youth and also eat candy. I'm Heidi Gardner, and my co-host of this show on this movie journey of candy eating and nostalgia is actually my big brother, Justin Gardner. Hi, Justin.
Hey, Heidi. How are you?
I'm doing very well. I'm excited to talk about movies that we saw together when we were kids.
Absolutely. And so you sent me a couple things. You sent me a Sprite and this package that I'm supposed to open here pretty soon. Do you want to explain that?
Yes. Well, I want to tell our listeners, because what comes along with every good movie is a good treat. So when Justin and I take this walk down memory lane, as we'll be doing, and sometimes we'll also have guests, we're going to be starting the show with a treat, something that we might have had back then while watching these movies. So, Justin, the movie I'm going to be talking about tonight, I remember eating this certain treat with you at the theater. You can go ahead and open it.
Okay, I'm going to open this up. Going to grab this, rip it open.
Rip it open.
And we've got, okay, Twizzlers.
Twizzlers.
I think I know what this is.
Because do you have the drink as well?
I have the drink, and I'm going to open the drink. Okay, so I'm going to open up my Sprite. This is a Mexican Sprite, so it's got the real sugar in it. There we go.
And I have canned Sprite, so it's got the
oh my gosh,
sugar in it.
Are
you getting a Twizzler aroma?
This is so. I haven't had Twizzlers in a minute, so this is like I'm excited about this. Yeah, because that cherry, like the cherry licorice, it's just so like amazing. And I hope that the people out there
over here.
Oh yeah. Wait, is it strawberry? No, I've got cherry. I have cherry.
Ooh.
You sent me cherry?
Oh my God.
Yeah, I think you sent me cherry. Cherry. Yeah. So you've got strawberry. I've got cherry. And yeah, I mean, like, I think I know what this is. I think I know why you sent this to me. But do you want to explain this to our viewers?
Well, I do. So the movie that I'm going to be talking about tonight is Back to the Future 3. That's my Where We Were When. And that was also the first time I found out about this amazing treat trick where if you take your Twizzler and you bite off the top, this is going to sound great in the mic, and you bite off the bottom, and then you kind of hollow. I'm chewing and
so
talking.
You have to kind of like press it. You have to find that hollowness because it can get pressed together. All right.
Because what you're doing, everyone, and some of you might know this, is you're turning your Twizzler into a straw, into a plastic straw that you would drink your fountain soda with. In this case, it's Sprite.
I'm sorry. You're turning it into a candy straw.
A candy straw. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
And
wow,
I got a great pull. How's your Twizzler?
I actually had a really good. That was delightful.
This was almost like an actual straw. This worked really well.
And it actually like the carbonation.
Yeah,
it really like ups the carbonation. So I'm excited about.
Is it because like you're putting sugar in sugar and now
probably
like boiling? Yeah.
Yeah. It's like just like it's too much of a good thing, which is just enough.
So I learned this little Sprite Twizzler trick from my friend in second grade. Her name was Rondi Johnson, who
Rondi.
actually accompanied us to Back to the Future 3. Do you remember this, Justin?
I do. I do.
Okay.
I remember this. I remember this amazing technology that she gave us. And I'm that this is an awesome memory. I also remember that um you guys got in a little bit of trouble. Just a
We
little bit.
did.
Yeah.
We
I'm sure
did.
you're going to go over that. I'm sure you're going to go over that. But first, Back to the Future 3. You want to talk about the movie just a little bit?
Yeah. So Back to the Future 3 came out in 1989. And so I would have been about 6.5 years old. Justin, you were
Mhm.
probably 13.
13. Yeah. I was 13.
Okay. A little backstory for you guys. For me, Back to the Future 3 might as well have been Back to the Future 2 because I didn't even know there was a Back to the Future 1. I saw Back to the Future 2 first and was like, yeah, oh, this is a perfect movie. This rules. There's that bet
Right.
book. It was just like, so then I see this Western Back to the Future and I'm like, yeah, I want to see the second one. I don't know why it says 3, but I want to see the sequel.
That is the sequel.
Yes.
That was the sequel to you.
So I was very excited. Where were you when you heard about Back to the Future 3? Do you remember a preview? What was your 13-year-old brain going through?
Well, so let me contextualize this a little bit. Okay, so like Michael J. Fox was like one of the coolest guys in the 80s. All right. Like Michael J. Fox played Alex P. Keaton on Family Ties, who is like this like young Republican with these hippie parents. And we watched Family Ties all the time because it had sort of like a big brother, little sister dynamic there too. He had I think an older sister and a younger sister.
Yes.
And then he made Back to the Future, right? So, which you
Yep.
didn't know about, but I did. And that was like one of those like, oh my God, like that was a phenomenal movie. I mean, obviously because it's time travel, it's cars, it's got that doc. I mean, like, crazy, just like hilarious, like just storyline. Crispin Glover, that's the first time I think anybody had seen Crispin Glover, and he was
In
just amazing.
a wild performance that worked.
Wild performance. Yes, absolutely. You get your goddamn hands off of her. So that was
That's a good
That's
Crispin
pretty good
Glover.
one. Was that a
Yeah.
good? That was okay.
Yeah.
That was okay.
Hey, you, get your damn hands off.
Oh, I think you got the wrong car, McFly.
And so, so I saw the first one, and I guess I just didn't explain to you that there was, another one. So, my apologies. 20-ish. Well, no, I mean, it's like 30 years after the fact.
Well, thank you. I've been waiting for that.
Have you been waiting for that? Well, I mean,
Yeah.
like, it was about time, right? But I just have to say, like, I was so excited for this because Back to the Future was, obviously they went to the future in the second one, right? But then like you see the previews and it's like, oh, wait a second. They're going back to the old West. Like, how is this going to work? That's not the future. I mean, I know they went back to get to the, but still, like, I was like, that's just, how is that going to work? What are they going to do? Right. And so like, it's Michael J. Fox. They're going back to the old West. I mean, that is just catnip for a 13-year-old boy. Right. So like,
Mhm.
that's where I was at. I mean, like, I was just so excited.
Yeah. So you're excited. Your 13-year-old self is excited. My 6.5-year-old self is excited. I get to take another 6.5-year-old friend, Rondi Johnson,
Right.
and we are all escorted to the movie by our Mamo. That's our grandma. You're going to hear us talk about her a lot.
Yes, our angel of a grandmother, Mamo, who is
Mamo.
Mamo, salt of the earth, amazing person, which you're going to learn real quickly. As to why.
So she drives the three of us in her convertible. She was a convertible lady up
Oh gosh.
to the Briarwood Theater. Justin, do you remember the Briarwood Theater?
Oh yeah. So the Briarwood Shopping Center, which is where the Briarwood Theater was. I mean, that was like our home base shopping center.
Mm-hmm.
And that was just a time when the strip mall was actually like awesome. Like this was a big one too. It had a grocery store, it had restaurants, and it had a movie theater. And this was
Yeah.
just like right down the hill from where we live. So, and I believe that it had 2 screens or 4 screens. I
Four
think 2 screens.
screens.
4 screens. Okay, 4
Yes.
screens. So it was like a big deal, right? I mean, like this is like one of those, this is a multiplex, right? And this
Mm-hmm.
is before they got like, there was like the 24 plex and those types of things. I mean, like 4 screens, that was a lot of screens. So the fact that it was just right down the street from our house was pretty awesome. And it showed all the first run films. I mean, this was you're not talking about Dollar House. Like these were the first run films.
These were great. You walked into the Briarwood Theater and there was a huge concession stand. And then off to the right were 2 theaters. Off to the left were another 2 theaters. But that concession stand was huge and beautiful. And they had the Care Bears gummy bears, which are just supreme. They're gummy bears and they've got Care Bears on the package. So that's like a little girl's dream.
Well, that had to have an effect because you are a gummy aficionado.
Mm-hmm. I
That is
do
your
love
candy.
a good gummy, yes. Gummies, I've kind of changed over from Care Bear Gummy Bear to now I'm a big fan of Trolley because I think they just have the best sour gummy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Agreed.
But gummies have always been big in my life. I will say that the day that we saw Back to the Future 3, we got the Twizzlers, we got the Sprite. That's how Rondi taught us the trick. But the other thing that Mamo bought us were Skittles. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
So
Here we go.
we're rolling into the theater, okay? And what I remember is we got there a little late. And I don't know if you guys like this just I don't
Mm.
know why this doesn't happen more these days. Like now I feel like people are just like more timely and have their,
Well, it's
shit
reserved
together.
seating. It's reserved seating.
Right. Yeah, okay.
They didn't have it back
That
then, but it's pretty much
yes.
reserved seating across the board now. Yeah.
Yeah, but if you were a little late to a movie back then, it was like there was no way you got to sit together, and the only thing available was the front row, correct? And it was like a
You were
bad
screwed.
you were screwed.
Yes, you were
So we walk
screwed.
in to Back to the Future 3, Rondi, Mamo, Justin, and myself. Okay, and it's a packed house. Everybody wants to see Back to the Future 3. I'm assuming it's opening weekend because it's packed. And it's basically the only place you can get 4 seats is the front row. Justin, you immediately like spotted that, oh, I can sit by
I'm like,
myself like in
I
the
am
20th
see
row.
ya. Yeah, I'm
See
a
you later.
13-year-old. I'm like, bye 6-year-olds, bye grandma.
Yeah.
I gotta go roll on my own.
So he abandons us.
Yeah,
Um
of course. I'm 13. I'm going to abandon 2 6-year-olds and a grandmother and our mama. I'm sorry.
yeah.
I'm not gonna apologize for it. Like
I mean,
that's
you never know what like cool teenage girl might be in the back of the theater.
hey, yeah, you never know. And it never happened. But I allowed myself the opportunity to actually have it happen. So, that's yeah, of course.
Yeah. So we roll up to the front row. And I think Mamo immediately, the previews were probably happening and we're like trying to get situated, and people are probably like, shh. And Mamo's like, oh God. And I think she's also seen like, I'm about to sit in the front row as like a 60-year-old woman. And I mean, that was probably like 3D
Yeah,
to
that's
like older eyes
well,
with
it's like
glasses. Like,
and they were like, that was a point too. And, movie theaters obviously have like, taken a bit of a hit this past year. But like, they were trying to pack as many people into theaters at that point. So the screen was like on top of you. I mean, it was like, if you're in the first row, that screen is like 7 feet away. So you're just like this, like you're just looking straight up at this like 20-foot tall image. And
you're wrenching your neck. I mean, that's not okay for someone of an older generation.
For a 6-year-old, you're like, oh my God, this is amazing, you know?
Yeah.
But like,
we'll watch a movie in a headstand at that age, but for a 6D-year-old, that's not okay. So I think I probably said, like, can Rondi and I sit alone? And Mamo definitely gave me some eyes like, are you going to be good? Yeah. And I was like, yes, we're going to be good. And so she peeled back to like the 4th or 5th row.
Can I ask a question? Because in general, I like, you're 6, right? I don't have, I'm 13-year-old Justin, right? I don't have a lot of insight into the 6-year-old mindset of Heidi Gardner, right? Like, were you a troublemaker as a 6-year-old? Like, were you like getting into a lot of stuff at school? Like, were you getting written up? Because like, you know, that information never made it to me, nor would I have cared. But, you know, like that, I just want to get some context of like who you were at that point.
I think I was pretty good, but every so often I would while out. Like I remember getting in trouble, and I think it was basically just repeating what was said in our household would get me in trouble by our parents. So,
yeah, well,
yeah,
it was like the cornucopia of profanity.
At that age, I remember mom and dad getting called in because a teacher had said to me, you know, Heidi, I am so mad at you right now. Something I had done. And I said, dogs get mad, people get angry. And she was like, which is our mom's favorite saying.
That's actually, I think that is an amazing saying. She's just trying to correct her language. You know, that's not even bad.
Yeah.
But that is an Ernieism. That is an Ernieism for sure.
Yeah. Ernie's our mom. And I feel like that's when I don't know, I would mostly get in trouble for little things like that. Slips of the tongue, you know. I was at a birthday party at that age, and all the little girls were like, hey, or they were like, what's that blue tarp over like in the like backyard or something? And I was like, I'll go step on it. And I fell into a hot tub. Like, it was just stuff like that. Like that.
I never heard that. You like literally just like legit just like went through just into the hot tub as a 6-year-old.
Into the hot tub, had to change my clothes.
You were a bad kid. You were you were a risk taker, a troublemaker. You're telling teachers that they're about anger, you know? Okay, I've got some context now. I had a completely different picture of you, Heidi. Like, I just, you know, I'm shocked.
I mean, honestly. I'll go as far as saying I was sassy. And that's as far as I'll go.
Little sassafras, little sassafras squatch.
Yes. All right. So this little sassafras and her friend are sitting solo, sans Mamo, in the front row. And, you know, we decide at some point in the first probably 10 to 15 minutes of Back to the Future 3, where 6-year-old brains, I mean, yes, Back to the Future 3 is like a whole lot of fun and a whole lot to look at, but like, 6-year-olds ain't getting time travel or anything at this point. So
no, they don't care about context. They don't care about the setup.
No, we don't care about the
you
love
care
story.
About the candy.
We care about the candy. So these little 6-year-old brains start getting bored. And, you know, one of us comes up, and I'll take the hit, comes up with the idea, what would it be like to throw a Skittle at the screen? And
what would that experience be like? I wonder.
What would it look like? How would it sound?
What would it look? Yeah.
You know, so I think I take the first pitch, you know, and if you're looking for a Skittle to hit the screen, and we're also little, so it's going to hit low, not that high, then it's really funny. So we're doing like a few Skittles hitting the screen. I don't think anyone's noticing. They're light. They're coming from 6-year-old little arms.
they're noticing. That was a packed house. Yeah, they weren't noticing yet. I'm sure that they were they were like, whose fucking kids are these that are throwing these? They're like alone. Like, is that your kid? Like, okay.
And,
yeah, no,
you know, well, we don't know that. We're not getting in trouble. So we
of
decide
course.
okay, this is fun, but how can we get these Skittles to stick to the screen?
How can we up our game? And how can we make sure that everybody notices our shenanigans?
Exactly. We want some attention.
Right.
We want to be the movie. So we start putting our Skittles into the Sprite, and then we start throwing those at the screen. And you guys, the Skittles are sticking. I don't know if you've ever tried this, but if you put Skittles in Sprite, they get sticky. They're already sticky. They get the Sprite sticky. And they start basically causing the characters on screen to look like they have zits and marks. I mean, we're just like zitting up the screen with Skittles. And we are having the time of our lives. It's like I've forgotten where I am.
That there's anybody there who could, it's just you and Rondi.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then I basically just feel a hand grab and pull. And I'm in the lobby with my mammo getting a major talking to. She definitely knew it was her granddaughter throwing wet Skittles at the screen.
Well, because you understand, like as 6-year-old you, she's not watching the movie.
No,
the moment you guys said,
us.
And I can't like imagine the thought process is like they are throwing candy at the. Okay, well, Joyce, our mammo's name is Joyce. Of course, we never call her that, but for the purposes of this exercise, Joyce, just let them be kids for a minute. We'll just, okay. That Skittle is sticking to the screen. Oh my God. My Heidi is going to ruin the movie for everybody. And that would be the thing. That would be the thought process. She would be very, very upset that you were ruining the movie for somebody else. She's a very considerate person.
Very considerate, but also that I would ruin the actual movie screen because as the Skittles started traveling down, like red, streaks and
didn't
orange
even occur to me.
And green. Yeah. Like that was the rainbow. The Skittle Taste the Rainbow is happening on the movie screen.
Michael J. Fox was tasting the rainbow that day.
Yes. So, basically, so that's the major thing, guys, that I remember about Back to the Future 3. I got pulled in the lobby. I promised Mammo it wouldn't happen again. She let me go back in, sit in the front row with Rondi. We finished out the movie without throwing Skittles. Right. It was all good. But basically, what I got from that experience was a little bit of freedom to sit in the front row, probably for the first time in my life by myself, with my friend. I got the Twizzler Sprite trick, which you've all learned today, and which Justin and I,
which is amazing, and you should bring it in. It's amazing. You should bring it into your life because it is just magical.
Yeah, and as you just let the Twizzler soak in there, the taste of the Sprite gets better too. It's like strawberry or cherry Sprite.
Yeah.
So that, Justin, that's my first where we were when. I was really little, and it was just a really, I guess I remember it so much because it is that feeling like when you're in a movie theater and it's a little bit magical. I felt like I was like on my own. Like the front row was a big deal.
You made it. You made it.
I made it.
You made it. You made it to the front row. And then
because you're too little to know that the front row sucks. All you hear is front row. And at a concert, that rules. At a sports game, that rules. Like it should rule at a movie. It doesn't, but you don't know that when you're little.
You don't.
Yeah.
And I think what's interesting here too is like the difference between this where we were when and the next one.
Yeah.
Because you were talking about this idea that you didn't understand that this was like the third movie, right? So you really like there wasn't a lot of like discernment of like whether or not a movie was good. You're 6 years old, every movie's good, right? It's a movie, right? You're going to the movies. 13-year-old me, I'm watching this, I'm excited about movies, maybe wanting to get into movies someday or like whatever that thing is. It's just magical, right? And like really watching Back to the Future 3 and like really like, oh, this is like legit good movie. Like this is like a really, really good. Of course, like as far as like threequels go, right? I mean, like this is like a really, really good end to that trilogy. Like it's almost like the perfect end to that trilogy, right? Um, but this next movie that we're going to talk about, this was a biggie. And you had obviously like developed discernment of like what, is good movies and bad movies. But this next movie is really special. And I'll just set the stage. Kansas City, Missouri, 1997, the Fine Arts Theater. Okay. So the Fine Arts Theater is one of our independent theaters here in Kansas City, Missouri. And, this is right after Pulp Fiction. This is like in the heart of independent cinema during the 90s. This is like the place where it happens. And not just the place where you go see really, really great independent cinema, but you also there's a video store inside the movie theater, right?
Oh, that was cool.
It was so cool because like every part of the inside besides the concession stand was just covered in all these VHS tapes that you couldn't get at Blockbuster. That was the key. Like, it's just like, what are these movies? Like Aldomovar, like who are these people? It was really, really cool. Right. And so,
and they had, the staff picks on the walls. Those were like the taste makers. Like you were like Chad's picks and you were like, oh my God, like I need to watch what Chad likes. Like he obviously knows what he's doing.
Chad is the coolest. My friend, so one of those people was a friend of mine, Todd Norris. And so Todd had some picks. Yeah, he was working there at the time. And the Fine Arts was just it was a 2-screen theater. But you knew that like, they had literally just put up a wall and like it was a big theater back in the day because like the one theater was like really, really kind of it was really narrow, right?
Right.
But yeah, you walk in there, it's like one of those classic old movie houses, and they've got the popcorn with the real butter, right? So like they haven't switched over to the soybean oil or whatever the fuck it is that like, is that, which I love. I still love that stuff. I think that stuff is amazing. But butter just tastes different, right? So like they had that. Then they had the candy that was just, it was just different. They had the Bit-O honey. They had the jujubes, right? Like
you could best
I can see it in your face.
Well, it was just 20 years ago from when we were like, it was, it was the dots. It was the jujubes. It was like, it was what you would see in like Leave It to Beaver or something. I don't know. It just was like different candy. And also you talk about the real butter in the popcorn machine. The popcorn machine also was like a very retro vintage popcorn machine.
Yeah.
That wasn't like a big industrial one that would be at a multiplex. It made it feel like maybe you could own a popcorn machine. Like it wasn't big and it wasn't, it didn't look that expensive. It looked like, could this go in our kitchen? Like, I mean, it was, it seemed realistic.
It absolutely. That was the popcorn machine that people who were rich had in their dens in the basement, right?
Yes.
The people who had the legit entertainment centers, like the 3 projection TVs. Yeah. Those people had those popcorn machines in the basement, along with like the casino, like the
oh my God,
the casino machine.
Yes.
A slot machine. That was a thing back then, like the late 80s, early 90s. for whatever reason, people just decided, I think it was probably Sharper Image, is like, hey, let's just, let's put a slot machine in our store and see if people will buy it. And like people did.
Oh, and it's like, if we want to go Sharper Image, the people that had the popcorn machine and had the slot machine, they had the massage chair.
They had the massage chair. And if they really wanted to go baller, they had the life-size alien model. Remember that?
Yes. Yes.
I don't know anybody who had it, but it was in the store and somebody had to buy it. Somebody had to buy it at some point, I'm sure.
And you know what? You just described when like I reach the pinnacle of my life. I'm just going to get all 4 of those things. And
yes. Darth Vader, the alien, there was like a stormtrooper and then all the other stuff, right? Like having the life-size replica of like the thing that was in the movie, like that was a thing at one point.
Yes. Those were the 4 best objects at Sharper Image. Good job.
You're welcome. So we're at the Fine Arts Theater. It's a two seat. It's 2 screen. And 1997, one of the best comedies of all time. And I think I would argue one of the most influential comedies of all time. Certainly influential for you because of where you find yourself at now. Waiting for Guffman.
I hear the name. Anytime I hear the name of that movie, it really does feel life-changing. For
because
real.
It was life-changing.
There was
that was the movie. Like you were like, wait a second, people can just make this stuff up? Like this is amazing.
And it's this good and it's this funny and they're all doing it and they're all that funny. There was no one who wasn't on their A game of improv in that movie.
Amazing. Yes. Yeah.
And it was also like, it was like, yes, you knew Christopher Guest was a comedian. You knew Fred Willard. You knew Catherine O'Hara. I knew Parker Posey was funny, but she was also kind of like an indie darling who could do it all.
Yeah.
And then Waiting for Guffman, you're like, okay, she's the best at everything.
Amazing. Yes. So, okay. Hopefully you have seen Waiting for Guffman. If you're listening to this, you're watching this. If you haven't, you absolutely need to because it is amazing. Heidi, can you set up the story for us?
Yes. So it takes place in Blaine, Missouri, and it's in their bicentennial year. And the town wants to do something big to like celebrate this. And they have one theater guy in town, Corky St. Clair.
I took the whole history of the town and I squeezed it like a piece of fresh bread.
Who, used to do theater in New York, found his way to Blaine, Missouri.
Off Broadway.
Off Broadway. But, if someone who's off Broadway comes to Blaine, Missouri, all they're going to hear is Broadway.
Big deal. So it's a big deal. Yeah.
So the whole town of Blaine thinks Corky St. Clair is a Broadway director. I mean, this is fame. This is everything. This is glam. And he's going to direct the bicentennial show in the town. And
I'm going to stop you real quick. It's the sesquicentennial.
Yes.
That was an important point because I think it's like 175 years or something.
Okay.
But, yeah. Yes. Or 70 or whatever. It's set, but it was very specifically sesquicentennial.
And it's such a better improv than bicentennial. It's
right.
You know what? I was thinking bicentennial, man. We're talking movies. This is just
absolutely. I love it.
So he's doing a show for the sesquicentennial. He holds auditions, which if you've seen the movie, I mean, the auditions in the movie are hilarious.
Floating like a vapor on the soft summer air.
And then we just follow the film, through auditions, rehearsals, into the big show where they all think this guy Guffman from Broadway is coming to watch the show. So they kind of think like if they do a great job, we're going to Broadway. I think that's a
That's
line.
right.
So
Yeah.
we might be going to Broadway. And that's basically the plot of it. Justin,
But they're waiting for Guffman.
yes,
They're going to put on their show, and they're waiting for Guffman because Guffman's coming, and he's going to be the person that could send them to Broadway potentially.
yes,
Yeah.
And that's the film. Justin, how old were you?
Gosh, I mean, like if that is 97, I'm 21. I'm 21.
Okay,
So,
and I'm like 13, 14.
Right. And I actually think, I'm pretty sure that this was, don't hate me. This was what we looked like back then. Pretty close, don't you think?
How could I hate you? What cool kids.
Those are some cool kids right there. That was a Sears special, Sears Portrait Studio special. It's pretty, that's all real. That's all mine.
Yeah, it's glorious. It's longer than mine, it looks like, but it's going long up top. I've got
awesome.
kind of the same bob.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. I'm proud of us because when we got those taken, I know it was for Christmas for Mamo and Bampo and our parents. And so that means we paid for those ourselves at,
we did.
21 and 13 or 14, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, so waiting for Guffman. I'm sorry, you were going to say something.
Well, I was just going to say, so, in the context of this episode, the last time you heard from little me was 6.5 years old. And then 6.5 years later, which I don't even think sounds that long, I'm seeing Waiting for Guffman. And, obviously, like in that 6.5 year time period, I've developed, like you were talking about, like
a point of view,
and
right.
And but even having a point of view and starting to have some taste in film, like Waiting for Guffman just like blew the doors off for me. Like, we actually went with another friend of mine. My friend at the time, Ashley, was with us. And
that's right. That's right. I forgot about that. Yeah.
The second we got home from Waiting for Guffman, Ashley was spending the night that night, and we got out the video camera, and Ashley and I were like, let's do what they did. And we tried to improvise a 2-hour movie, and we did it. We played a band.
Oh, man.
2 hours of improv, and you guys, I'm
so good. You were so amazing.
Well, I'm very serious when I say this. I do know in our little 13-year-old brains, when we went to watch the recording, we expected Waiting for Guffman because we were like, they made it up.
They made it. Why not you? Yeah.
And then 10 minutes into it, Ashley and I just put stop, and we were like, oh my God, improv is very hard. Very hard. And if you don't do it right, it's very boring. And then I, had other parts of my life. And then around like 25 years old, I took an improv class, and I realized again, improv is very hard. and
you were doing improv during, like, we don't have to like go off into that right away, but you were doing improv during that time.
Yes. But I just didn't know it. I mean, I feel like when we were growing up, I was like always kind of, I remember doing impressions a little bit, like when we were little. I mean, Robin Leach, no big deal. Lifestyle, or what did he
Lifestyles of the rich and famous.
My name is Robin Leach, and I don't know why.
And I don't know. No, you know what? That was Dana Carvey. You were doing Dana Carvey. My name is Robin Leach, and I don't know why.
So I was doing a little bit of that, but then I was like doing characters when we were little, and I think I was improvising. Like I was making up scenarios. I just didn't know what I was doing, and I didn't necessarily have a scene partner. I mean, sometimes you might have been down to break off a bit with me or something, but yeah. And then I got into prank phone calls.
Improv. There you go. That's exactly where I'm going with this. Your improv almost resulted in a felony.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think mom could have gone to jail for it.
So it wasn't just that you were making prank phone calls. Okay. So like, I just want to like set this up. You were making epic. You had decided on a methodology for pranking that involved a local radio station and joining together a radio personality that our mother knew personally.
Yep.
And complete strangers. I'm tossing it up. I just want you to hit it out of the park because it's an amazing story. So go for it.
Yeah. I mean, the best way to describe it is I was causing complete chaos in the world. So our mom was a travel agent and she did travel. This was back when you used a travel agent. I know that sounds crazy, but our mom was like a premier travel agent. Okay. She would do travel for like the Kansas City Chiefs. She would do it for Dennis Pryor, who was the biggest radio DJ in Kansas City at the time. He was like the head DJ on Mix 93.3. He was always the guy you would listen to at 5:00 on Fridays. He would always play that song like, I don't want to work. I just want to bang. And people were like,
on your drum all day. Yeah.
I love that he plays that song. You know, it would just get you ready for Fridays. So Dennis Pryor was awesome. And, you know, he just kind of sounded like this. What's up? I'm Dennis Pryor. And, you know, I probably workshopped that with you or mom, just kind of like, it's Dennis Pryor, and realized like, hey, I've got a pretty good Dennis Pryor. So as I was getting better at pranks, I was like, oh, I want to start calling people as Dennis Pryor. And somehow, and I was like, how do I make that like work? Or why would Dennis Pryor just be calling people? So I came up with this formula where I would just dial, you know, random numbers and I would be like, hey, what's up? This is Dennis Pryor making random phone calls. How you doing? And always, I'm not kidding, 100% of the time, people were like, oh my God, Dennis Pryor. Oh my God,
Dennis Pryor was a big deal. Like you didn't get a phone call. If you got a phone call from Dennis Pryor, something big was going to happen. And you delivered something big.
Yes. And I love too that like I wasn't actually that good at improv yet. So I love that I was also saying Dennis Pryor making random phone calls. Like just, I didn't quite have the script right.
They just bought it. They bought it.
Every time. And so they're like, oh my God, what's up? And so I would go, hey, so we are giving out free Chiefs tickets if you can get this trivia question right. And they're like, yes, I would love to try. And so I would just say something, all right, who starred opposite Kate Winslet in Titanic? And then Leonardo Dicaprio. Yeah, that's right. Come on down to the station this Friday to pick up your free Chiefs tickets for this Sunday's games. We'll see you then. And then I'd hang up. And I mean, I could bust these out all day long. If I was at a sleepover, I mean, extremely good party trick. Like,
yes.
People would love it. You put that on speakerphone, you hear people get excited. I mean, so I was churning these babies out, these Dennis Pryors. And yeah, I'm probably doing it for a month. You know, I'm
how many? Okay. Hold on. So a month, right? You've got at least a couple sleepovers during that time, right? Where you would probably make at least 10, right? Then you're hanging out with Ashley after school.
Yeah.
Pretty much every day, right?
Yeah.
4 or 5, right?
Yep.
So you're talking in a month's time, you have probably called up close to 70 people, 70, 75 people.
Oh yeah. I mean, I was
and
gonna
promised
say
them
pushing.
Chiefs tickets. Promised them
Yeah.
Chiefs tickets. If they just come down to the station, hey, come on down.
And I didn't even do my research to say an address. I just said, come on down to the station.
They knew where it was. Yeah.
You can pick them up.
They could figure that out.
But yeah, Justin, 75 is being nice. I mean, I think I was pushing 100. I mean, a lot.
Thousands of dollars worth of Chiefs tickets that did not exist. Just complete nonsense.
But it's like I hang up the phone and I'm
it's done.
13 years old. I don't know. I don't think about the future. I'm
no
only
consequences.
in the present moment. No, I'm only in the present moment. So then I get home from school one day and my mom's like, we need to talk. And I'm like, okay, what's up? And she's like, Dennis Pryor came in today to book his trip to Cancun. And I asked him how things were going at the station. And he said, fine, except some idiot keeps calling people and telling them they've won free Chiefs tickets. And now we have lines of people coming down to the station wanting their Chiefs tickets that I promised them. And we don't have Chiefs tickets. And immediately my mom is like, that's my daughter. And so,
but doesn't say it. Doesn't say it.
No.
Doesn't tell him. No. In her mind, she's like,
oh, honey, I can see her to Dennis Pryor. Oh,
honey.
That is
honey.
awful. Who would do
I'm so sorry.
And they're coming to the state. Oh, and it's hundreds. Oh, honey. That is just
honey.
horrid, honey. And
then she's thinking, that little fucking bitch.
Yes.
Yeah.
My daughter, that little fucking bitch. And so, she tells me to shut it down, shut down the whole operation. And I don't think I did it again after that. I mean, that was enough for me to know. Stop.
Well, you didn't do that, but didn't the phone company get involved at some point?
The phone company did send a letter. I mean, I think I progressed onto a new prank, and at a certain point, other people were calling the phone company about the pranking coming from this phone number. So my mom got a letter that, they were going to shut off our phone if the pranks didn't stop. So, I would just go to friends' houses and use their phones, whatever.
And just do
I kept it up. And you know what?
Yeah.
I just want to say this, and this is going to be a brag. But, I've now worked on 2 episodes of Crank Anchors. So guess what? Prank phone calls are allowed. You can make a living from them. And I'm really proud of my work. And I'm proud of myself at that age for developing the skills to get on Crank Anchors.
It paid off. So if there's any 13-year-olds listening or watching to this, don't pay attention to your parents. Just do what you want. You've got 6-year-old Heidi throwing shit at the screen, right? Messing up everybody's. It's like, just to like make your friend laugh, just do it. You know what? There's no consequences. What's really going to happen? I mean, really. And the phone company got involved, right? It's like in the age of like, it's people I think would actually even just probably like, they'd probably put it up online, to brag, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just get your work out there,
Yes.
Just keep churning, just keep working at it.
Because guess what? I wasn't in theater or anything as a kid.
No, that was
it. Yeah, I wasn't at the Coterie Theater. If you're in Kansas City, like we didn't have the money for acting lessons. So this is how I was developing my skills. So my advice to all aspiring little comedians is do prank phone calls. And my advice to anyone who gets a unidentified number is just answer it, because it might be a child honing their skills.
It's either going to be somebody from India offering you $10,000, or it's going to be a child trying to deceive you, right?
Yes.
Either way, you win.
Yeah. You're getting fooled and you win because you've got a good story. So
either you can, here's the thing. Either the child's going to prank you, right? Or I will tell you one of my greatest joys in life right now. And I have a lot. One of my greatest joys, though, is when I get those phone calls, those scam phone calls, and I can just milk it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever done this? Have you ever called them up and just be like, "Oh yeah, I would love to be. Yeah, I'm very interested in like getting the money." You're like, "Oh, okay, great." And so they pass you along to the next person, and you just start giving them just sort of like bogus information. They get so angry at the end. It is just, it's such food, to know that I've like wasted their time and energy. It's lovely. It's a reverse prank. It's a reverse prank.
That's what I was going to say.
It comes to you.
Incoming phone call, and then you prank on that. It's a yes and.
And I have saved somebody. I have saved somebody, because I'm wasting their time. So I feel almost like a prank superhero at that point.
Yeah, because if you waste their time for long enough, they're not going to get as many calls in that day. So might.
I will tell you this: 20 minutes.
Wow.
I had somebody on for while I was just working. I just had them on speaker, and I just wove this tale, right? And they were gonna give me $200,000, but I couldn't find my social security number. I just couldn't find my credit card. I was looking it up. It was a stem winder. I mean, it was a tale. Yeah. So yeah, just at any opportunity you get, just practice. Just practice.
It all comes back to waiting for Guffman.
Waiting for Guffman. Yes.
Giving Justin and I some pranking phone calls. I would actively prank, and Justin would get an incoming call and prank. And thank you, Waiting for Guffman. You taught us how to do that, basically.
Thank you, Waiting for Guffman. And one really interesting point about Waiting, because we didn't really talk about the movie that much.
That's okay. This isn't. Hey, you guys, really quick.
Hey.
This isn't a movie review show.
That's right.
Probably should have been clear about that up top. Well, you're probably going to find out if we liked these movies, but it's more about just like where we were when we saw them, who we were at that time, what was going on with our lives, what the basement looked like we saw it in, what we ate, all that stuff, which I think is really fun to talk about.
Candy.
Yeah.
Candy. Yeah. I mean, like
Friends.
More candy, hilarious memories.
VCRs. Yeah.
VCRs, Blockbuster. You're going to hear a lot about Blockbuster on this podcast.
Yes.
You're going to we spent many hours, even on the same day, we would spend hours in Blockbuster curating our weekend. And it was a magical time.
And we're also going to be having guests talk about their favorite experiences growing up watching certain movies.
I'm getting chills. I am so, when you came to me with this idea, I was just like, yes. When can we do it? Because I mean, what has it been? We talked about this like a month ago. I mean, we're in it. Like, the answer and the question. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
100%.
And I think you'll see if anybody's listening that, Justin and I reach out to be a guest, like it's fun to talk about those times. It's we just did it. It's fun. And I think you'll enjoy yourselves too.
Yeah, but you do have to, if you're going to come on the show, you do have to admit to some type of petty crime of some sort. So hopefully, it's the time to just get it out, right? This is the time, just get it out, get ahead of it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
speaking of just getting it out really quick, because we're wrapping up here. So yes, the show is where we were when, but I just also want to check in with where we are now. So to close out every show, yes, because we're still alive. We're still people. So I just want to end the show with a quick little thing about what we're into now. So Justin, I'm going to start with you. What are you obsessed with right now? It can be anything. It doesn't have to be a movie
Right.
or a TV show. If it's a restaurant, if it's a a, a t-shirt, just what are you obsessed with right now?
I've got it. I've got it.
Okay.
And it's amazing. It involves the NBA.
Ooh,
So you're
okay,
in.
because I love that.
Okay.
Yes, I do.
You love the NBA. Yeah. Um, NBA Top Shot.
Okay.
Okay, so
Yes.
people have heard about NFTs, right? And
We just did
this is
a
something
song about that last night on SNL.
you did as yes,
Yes, I
which
thought
I
of you.
thought
I
was
was like,
actually really funny. Yeah, I thought that was
yeah.
really great.
And I knew what it was at the table read because 2 weeks ago you had told me
Yeah.
about NFTs. So I felt just in the know. Go ahead.
That's right. So NFTs stand for non-fungible token. And basically you've heard of cryptocurrency and all these types of things. Well, it's not just Bitcoin, right? So like there's Bitcoin, which is a currency, but then there's like basically a platform that you can develop applications on. And that platform is Ethereum. And one of the applications that was developed on the Ethereum platform were NFTs. And non fungible tokens are things that you just can't trade one for one. So you put $5 bills in a pile. It doesn't matter which like dollar bill you take out of that pile. It's still worth $1, right? But non fungible means that it's one of a kind, right? So like a house is non fungible, right? A piece of art is non fungible, and that's kind of what you're hearing about NFTs. It's like Beeple sold one NFT for $69 million at the Christie's auction, which is just amazing. But what's cool, and you know how big I was into trading cards, the NBA has a new type of trading card that is a non-fungible token, uniquely numbered, that is like video. It's called a moment. And I am just obsessed with these things because it's when you open up a packet of like baseball cards, right? I mean, this was gambling for like 10-year-olds. Really. I mean, that's what it was. Like you would get it, you'd get a stick of gum, so you always got something nice, right? But maybe you'd get like a card that was worth $5, right? And you would always go right down to the card dealer and trade it in, get more packs. That's how you were able to play the game that was the trading card game. Well, NFTs have taken that to a whole new level, and they are I mean, the prices are ridiculous, right? It's insane. Like the packs cost anywhere between $8 or like $130 already.
Okay.
There's like a LeBron moment that is like super rare that's selling for like $250,000. I mean, it is insane.
Worth
right
it.
Hey, listen, if I've got a birthday coming up in December, it's a ways away, but if you want to save up,
And you have a
I don't
Christmas
know.
coming up in December. So I
That's
won't lump
right,
them
that's right.
together, but
two different ones. So I've got Giannis, I've got Anthony Davis, I've got John Morant. Yeah, I've just been starting to like buy some commons, right? Just so I can kind of get into it. I've got like 10 right now. And I feel like I'm, opening up packs again. I'm just buying card like moments right now. But the cool part too is like when there was one Porzingis, okay? You've got who's the guy on the Dallas Mavericks, the really like awesome Luka, okay?
Yep.
So the moment starts out with Luka dishing it to Porzingis. So you get 2 for 1.
You get 2 for 1, and you get all these angles too, which is so cool.
It's covered. Oh, that's the thing that I didn't say. It's covered by like 6 different angles, right? So you've got it is just the coolest, and it just reminds me. It's this cool analog to like, like back in the day, because I had like, oh man, I collected comic books, baseball cards, all that stuff, and so like NBA Top Shot, and I mean, I am going to be in trouble when the NFL version comes out because I will want a Mahomes, and I know
No
it's not going to
look.
be cheap. No
A
look.
Mahomes, no look.
The Spider-Man throw.
Oh,
that hit him in the face and he didn't catch it.
Yes.
But one of the best throws in the history of the Super Bowl. Yes. So like I will be shelling out some bucks.
I get it.
So that's what I'm obsessed with right now. Heidi, what are you obsessed with?
Okay, what I'm obsessed with is it is a throwback, but I'm throwing it back even further before I was even born. I am obsessed. I am obsessed with the TV show Dallas. Obsessed with it. I am on season 8.
Right.
And I mean, last night I just watched, I came home from the show from Saturday Night Live. We don't have after parties right now. I got my after party was watching the season finale of season 7 of Dallas. And you know what? I just know already no one is really going to take my advice and watch Dallas. I mean, the seasons are 30 episodes long. But what I do want to say
is it, man.
is everybody that knows Dallas knows that there was the big thing, who shot JR. Okay, that was the end of season 2. You guys, last night, I watched the finale of season 7 of Dallas, and it was who shot Bobby, the other Ewing brother. Bobby got shot. And I mean, this is like 3 a.m. I just got home from the show. It was like the Game of Thrones series finale for me. Like, it was incredible. I am so invested in this show. And also, I said Game of Thrones. And if you have any like desire to watch Dallas, it is so much like Game of Thrones. I swear to you, it is. It's like family drama. There's all these family dramas, and there's not like, houses or lands or dragons, but there's oil. Everybody's oil heiresses and families. And it is such drama. It is so good. I will be so sad when I get to the end, but it's 13 seasons, so it's going to be a while, and 30 episode seasons.
Gosh, 30 episodes. Like back in the day, they did it right. They're like, they did not fuck around with the seasons back then. They were like, hey, how many episodes you want? You want 30? We got it. How many seasons do you want? 17 seasons? We got it. Things just kept going. And they just kept getting zanier and zanier and zanier.
It's so zany.
Because if Bobby's getting shot in season 8, what the fuck is going to happen in season 13? I mean, like, how are they going to end that? Like,
and he didn't just.
I didn't watch it, so I have no idea. I have no idea. I know JR got shot. I get that. I remember Bobby getting shot, right? But that's about it. And I remember kind of like who the characters were. I remember JR had that big hat. Bobby never wore that hat. He was just kind of like, he's like the younger brother, who's like the good guy. JR was a piece of shit, right? Oh. And he loved being a piece of shit. Yes. Loved it. He just revels in it.
Yes.
Yes. He's like Littlefinger, he loves
Game of Thrones. I'm telling you.
That's what I'm saying.
Game of Thrones. You know what? I'm going to say it. Game of Thrones copied Dallas.
You heard it here first.
And I think that's what we go out on. Game of Thrones copied Dallas. Thank you so much for listening to our very first episode of Where We Were When. I had so much fun, Justin.
It's so much fun. I do have one thing that I think could be a fun way to end these episodes.
Okay. Yeah.
If I want to just kind of like.
Yeah.
So
this is new to me, but
I am improving right now, right? So I'm just like so you obviously like people know who you are because of what you do, right? And when you got on the show, every once in a while, you get an email unsolicited from me, right? With an idea, with a sketch idea.
Oh yes.
Right. Lot of really, I think really, really solid, good ideas that just haven't been used, right? So I'm not going to hash through any of those other ones because that's just gold. You've got it. You've read it. I understand, it just was too good to use. But why not? I think I should just pitch you a sketch right here. in the podcast. So I'm just gonna. I'm not even asked permission. I know you want me to do it. So we're on YouTube, right? And you have a character that is a YouTube movie reviewer. Bailey Gismert. Bailey Gismert, right? I've got that right. Okay. So Bailey joins a cult.
No.
I have more. I've got like a.
It's a no.
Okay.
It's a no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. I'll email you. Yeah. And
sure. I guess anything not on camera would be great.
Okay. All right. Well, that's our show. We hope you enjoyed it. Heidi, this was a great first show. I had so much fun.
This was a great first show. I had so much fun. I hope you guys had fun listening. Come back and listen to us again. Justin and I are going to be talking movies. We're going to have guests on that are talking movies. We promise to talk about candy. We're going to eat candy.
We're going to eat candy. We're going to talk about candy. And we're going to have guests. Those three are promises.
Yes. All on Where We Were When. Thanks so much for listening. Down the stairs came the future love of my life. Our guest today, Zeb Wells, fresh out of bed at like noon, coming downstairs to help on the Spec commercial.
to help.
Zeb, you're here. Was that the worst way you've ever been introed in your life?
Absolutely. This is character assassination.
D